clean. We'll just take a day to day with a couple guys like Irv coming out last week. So we'll see. I think Charlie will be limited a little bit with a hand issue. Aside from that, I think we're relatively clean.
What's Burrow didn't go full last week? Is there an expectation that you'd like him to go full, or how was that going to look like?
Today's a walkthrough, so I expect him to be able to take all the walkthrough reps.
But after
Take a day to day. Yep.
Zac, after going back and watching through film, just what did you like about the way the defensive line played?
Oh, they were relentless. They put a lot of pressure on him. Good against the run as well. And so again, just never really allowed them to get into great rhythm. I think that was critical, and I think the coverage on the back end matched that as well. They did a great job with the pressures and matching it with the coverage, and just really felt like our defense did a nice job. Getting the stop on the around reverse on the 3-yard line. Nick Scott's the one that kind of knocked him out of bounds there, held him to 3 points. DJ had the sack on the next play. There were some critical moments in the game that maybe don't get made a lot of, but were big parts of us winning.
Rams pressure focus for you guys obviously was Aaron Donald, but for these guys, how much is it across the board? What challenges do they provide, literally end to end and interior as well?
Yeah, it's really tough. They're really difficult. It feels like playing an AFC North team when you play these guys. I remember first feeling that in the playoffs a couple years ago against them. And so, last year they had some injury challenges across the board on defense. This year, I think they're a lot healthier. It shows up on the tape. And they've really got after these quarterbacks they played the last couple of weeks. Even if the sack production isn't necessarily there, they're there. They're grabbing them. Some of these quarterbacks are making strong plays. But I think their defense as a whole is really tough, really disciplined. They play well together. They make it really difficult. They make you earn every single yard you're going to get. You ask about the defensive line. Their defensive line is really impressive across the board and with the depth. They got guys that can come in there and impact the quarterback and impact the run game. They're number one in the league against the run, yards per carry. That shows up on tape. And so it's a challenging defense.
Joe, Zac. One of the biggest struggles of this team has just been first half offense finding its footing, and Joe's cap has been a big part of that. But what to you is the key to kind of getting on track early in the game and getting the offense going?
Yeah, we just got to get a fast start. I think that'll help us.
You've often said you pride yourself on this offense winning a bunch of different ways. Certainly the game against Tennessee is proved that. I think you kept the ball for the last 6 minutes in the last game.
Yeah.
The way you guys are playing now, that kind of fits what you're doing, isn't it? If you're managing the cap, it almost seems like you're managing the clock, you're managing the game, maybe a little bit more differently. Yeah,
that comes up. It's you got to play some of these games smart. Just like you'd play an AFC North game, you got to be smart with your decision making. As players and coaches as well in terms of how we manage the game. You got to win all the situational battles. And the turnover battle is critical. And so these guys do a great job. Their punter can boom it a long way, and they play the field position battle. They pinned us down there a couple times last year and tried to make us come out of it. Penalties are critical. We had 2 OPIs against them last year that really set us back on 2 big drives. We had some penalties on punt return as well. And so those are things that we've got to be really disciplined about this year.
How has Jonah Williams played on the right side through 3 games for you this season?
Yeah, good. Our offensive line last week, protection, Donald got the 2 sacks. I don't think he got credit for one, but it was him. And then he got a quarterback hit on one. Aside from that, I thought those guys really kept him clean. The one he had to scramble out to the left, we had an MA on the route. We had a great play going there. And what made him leave was more so the shock of probably the error. And so I thought those guys up front really gave us enough. Jonah's included in that, and was really impressed. Really, we had our challenges the first week. I think the last 2 games, man, these guys have really risen to the challenge.
How, Zac, do you balance when you go up against a defensive line up front like Tennessee's? It's so good, stout against the run, versus wanting to be able to run the ball to do what you want to do?
We just want to do what we need to do to score points and win the game. That's it. That's our objective. And so, again, establishing the run, establishing the pass, doing this and that. What do we got to do to help our team win the game and allow ourselves to score points? And whatever it takes before the game, during the game, that's what we're willing to do.
And I assume part of getting off to better starts in the first half is doing better on first and second down. Is there anything you see in those two downs that you could be doing?
Penalties have killed us the last 2 weeks. That's a big thing that we got to clean up.
What's it been like going up against Derrick Henry the last few years as a team, and kind of how good has he been amongst NFL running backs over the last few years?
If you allow him to break through the line of scrimmage, it's a real problem. And especially, he's good behind the line of scrimmage as well. He's hard to bring down. But once he gets moving, it's like a freight train. And we saw that last year. They hit the screen on us, and he got in the open field and had that explosive touchdown. So again, he's a great running back, and he poses a lot of challenges for defense.
So for your first game against a Division I from last year, is there something?
Say that one more. What would you say?
No, Zach Jacksonville.
Yeah, I was going to say, my brother's in Jacksonville. They won the division.
Yeah, it's just the NFC South game, so never mind. I'll take that question back.
Okay.
I'll ask you a different one. The Jets picked up Trevor Siemian. What did he kind of show you all to be in the conversation of being in the backup job? What does he provide to an NFL team at this point in his career?
I didn't expect to answer Jeff's questions today, but I like Trevor. I like being around him. He was smart. He's had experience in this league. Brian had coached him before he liked him. He impressed us. He was getting better and better every week, understanding our offense. But I think he'll do a great job wherever he's at.
Zach, when a team's back is against the wall, 0-2, and Joe says he felt like he had to play so his team didn't go down 0-3, and they respond like they did. You guys have done it before, but what does it kind of remind you about this team, their demeanor, and everything about them?
It doesn't remind that's what our expectation has been. Is we all know it's a long season, and when you're in control of the things you can control as a team, that's why I think we have the confidence that we've had through 2 weeks. It's all the fear and panic is always coming from outside. It's always in these rooms and when you interact with people outside the building, that's where that comes in. But so it's nice that this is always limited, because then you just get a chance to be around the people who've got the confidence. And so I've always, that's always what we've embraced and enjoyed. And then you go out there on game day and just play your brand of football. And it's good to get the first win of the year, to get that winning feeling back in the building. That's always a positive. But we know that it's a long season. And again, just like I said, we stubbed our toe early in the season. It's a marathon, not a race. We stubbed our toe on the start, and we expect to pick things up and find our groove.
Do you remind the team there's only one unbeaten team in the AFC through 3 weeks?
No. I mean, we're aware of just the league, wherever, there's a general awareness there. Those are conversations you do have as the year goes. That's our bye weeks usually falling at the midpoint of the year, and it's kind of good to paint a picture at that point of just kind of where things stand and who you got left. And I think week 3, it's just control what we can control the Bengals, focus on us week in and week out, and things take care of themselves.
Burrow Smith being nicked up a little bit, Tanner Hudson a little bit. What did you think his play overall at the tight end position?
Yeah, he had the big catch in 2 minutes. That put us in good scoring position. We weren't able to capitalize on it, but Tanner's a smart guy. We've all got a lot of confidence in him. Joe's got confidence in him. And he's one of those veterans. Somebody know the nickname of his alma mater?
Mule Riders.
Nice. Well done. Southern Arkansas Mule Riders. Yeah.
Zach, you carried 3 quarterbacks on Monday night. Was that just germane to that situation, or did you see doing that in the short term moving forward?
We'll see. I wouldn't have made that decision. Certainly that pertained to last week and just where Joe was at. But not necessary to make that decision at this point.
You mentioned the penalties a few times. Is it concerning that those false starts were some of your most veteran guys, or does that make it easier to digest that, knowing that they're not going to?
It's not easier to digest in any way. We can't do it. So again, that's something we've got to clean up. The OPIs are all, sometimes that's a big guy and a little guy, and the flag just comes out. And so something we got to help T with, because sometimes it just looks bad when it's not really as bad. And that's just the nature of being a big receiver. He's always going to have to deal with that. But the false starts, we can't have that. It set us back too many times now, and really killed us in some drives.
What kind of a coaching point do you give to you? I mean, it's like, other than he gets screwed, I mean, it's like, how do you help him prevent it from happening?
Yeah, it's difficult. I don't have a great coaching point for him. You know, he does a really good job. He had a tough OPI call against these guys last year when you watch the tape, and, you know, he's blocking, and a guy engages him first. And, you know, aside from standing there with your hands behind your backs, it's difficult. And so, again, that's the difficulty for the officials, too. You know, there's a lot of times pushing and pulling within a confined area, and it's hard to see. And so I get all that. So just one of those things you got to manage when you're a bigger receiver like that.
We were talking with Brian a little bit about motion, usage of motion. You guys are generally been kind of more of a static team. I'm curious how your view of use of motion has evolved from the time with the Rams to where you guys are at now. And
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.